They've been a little bit less than perfect, and it's just so competitive here in SMLNA that I think you have to be just that one step up. But I mean, for all the fun we've been having, I think Spacestation time and time again shown us that these are strong players, that they're close, they just can't quite close it out. Let's see if maybe Game 2 will be different. Picks and bans now ready for you, as Spacestation have got to find a way to make some adjustments. One adjustment is that they'll be second pick this time. They're going to let Sanguine go first on this one, so it'll be Spacestation likely banning out the Arthur and the Freya, and then obviously Sanguine will get the first pick selection from there. Will that be something like the Naja, the Bacchus? That stands to be determined.
Well, Kumbhakarna is going to be the first victim to fall here in this picks bans early on from Space Station. And while Kumbha might seem a little bit out of place here, I actually kind of like it when you factor in that Sanguine, they're able to have, I think, a little bit of pressure over Space Station being first pick, because now they threaten Bacchus or King Arthur, and Space Station going for the Naja, leaving both of them open. Well, this time around, Sanguine can only take one.
That's right, and I think that's what happened with this Freya too, where Sanguine were forced to ban that themselves, because then there's like a Freya or a Bacchus, or a King Arthur and a Bacchus, or a Freya, and you know what I mean? There's too many picks for Sanguine to take all of them, so Space Station kind of forced them to ban it out. But I don't know if they get the better end of it in this one with the Freya and the Naja ban. Sanguine get King Arthur, and I don't know if there's a value pick as good as that for Space Station to take on the back end. Raijin's strong, I just don't know if that's something that you want to come in first pick prioritizing. But though Bacchus does feel pretty good.
That Bacchus, I think, kind of makes up for missing out on that King Arthur. I think that it's going to be really important here to have some mild anti-heal already available in the Bacchus to try and help deal with this King Arthur. But the Artio pick shortly after that, that cripple field can be very restricting against a Bacchus. You typically want to try and initiate with those flops. And I'm also somewhat expecting this Bacchus to go to the hands of Mattypocket here. I don't really think that it's going to be a favorable matchup for Uzzy if he tries to take this Bacchus into the King Arthur. Bacchus is strong, but I'm not sure he's strong enough to deal with the laning phase.
That could be difficult for him, so I think you're right. We'll likely be seeing this as the support Bacchus, as the Muzen Cobb comes back in. This is another pick that I thought was going to have more pressure than it had. Oswaald did a really good job going even with this Muzen Cobb, at least in terms of the laning phase. The whole game was even. It was really those late game fights that started to slightly get ahead or get away from Space Station, I would say. So I don't think I have a problem with Space Station giving this back over to Sanguine and then picking up the Xbalanque for Oswaald.
And also Darkest Night might be that little bit of extra help that Space Station will need around those team fights. Because
clutter their comms too, right? Yeah.
That might be the best way to go about it. Hey, our comms might not be there, but we'll make sure yours are cut off too. So I like it. I like the strat from Space Station here.
I like it too, as the Hera and Vulcan get banned out. Make sure Sheento is on something a little bit less impactful, because I think that was the other thread of that game, was that even though the game was even, it wasn't from pressure on Sheento. My man was free casting basically the entire game, or at least it looked like that for me. You saw in the clips we were showing, he was full health often, as he just got to kind of cast from the back line. So make things a little bit harder for this mid lane mage.
Not only, but Agni is still on the table, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see Sheento maybe look for an Agni, something that can create space away from a lot of the disrupt that Space Station have to offer. The Guan Yu as well, so Spacestation Gold really trying to prioritize the team sustain, get a little bit more of that not necessarily risking dying early on factor, because even, like I said, in game 1, they won a lot of fights, but then they weren't really able to do as much after the fact that I think they would have liked to.
Well, so far, I'm actually really liking Space Station's draft. Guan Yu is very strong right now. Bacchus and Xbalanque are a potent duo lane. Raijin provides plenty of damage and control, kind of like you were talking about with the Agni. So I'm feeling good about this. And now you throw in a Serqet, someone who can shut down some of that healing. I mean, I don't know. This pick ban phase feels pretty good for me so far. Not to say that Sanguine's slouching with Artio, King Arthur, Pele, and a Muzen Cobb. I mean, they're strong picks on both sides.
I think that this is anybody's game, if you ask me, Finch. Both of these compositions are sound in their own respects. I think that Sanguine might be a little bit lacking as far as the overall team fights are concerned. I think that Space Station definitely have a better chance to restrict more of the choke points on the map, but the burst potential is definitely there for Sanguine.
That's right. Let's see how this one goes. Space Station Gold now have got to win this game if they want to force it to 3, or it's an option for Sanguine to close it out. Hindu and Tom and Hindu, go ahead and take the call.
The king has returned.
Yeah, Jarcorrr got it again. You right there? 3v1, here we go. No, it's not going to be. Ronnyu's coming too. A little bit over-aggressive for Ronngyu. Sorry, Jarcorrr at level 1, but he's got Ronngyu in support, and I don't think they know there's no one else coming. But once again, Spacestation Gold getting abused in the early game.
Now, one of the big things here, if you guys have seen Variety's famous clip where he 1 versus 4 as King Arthur, no Glad Shield online. So that's not possible just yet. Jarcorrr still going to look for the speed buff invade alongside his support player. Oof. And while he doesn't have the heal, he certainly can deal. Chapo. Yep, that's Chapo.
There we go, though. That's what you do to punish this comp if you can.
Really, really interesting thing to note. That was Chapo, and he ain't playing no mid lane Serqet. Chapo and Mask have swapped positions here for game number 2. Mask on the Raijin and Chapo on the Serqet.
I don't really care that much about that. I care more about that dual lane kill at the start.
Sure.
Because of the fact that that's what they need to do to shut down what Sanguine have been putting on them. 3 members going to speed buff, trying to deny farm. Will you abuse them elsewhere? And that's what they managed to do here. It was a good play from Mattypocket, actually, combining with Oswaald to pick up a kill early on.
Answer on the other side for sure. That's the most important thing to drive home. I got so excited about the position switch.
And now we can go to the Mass Chapo switch. Like, Mass, we've not really seen him mid too much throughout his professional career. Chapo has played jungle before. He's played solo before. He's also played mid before. I've always felt like Chapo's natural role was jungle or solo overall. He's an aggressive player. He likes to play up and he likes to highlight real plays. I know he likes mid for the big old numbers, though, to do the same thing. But in this comp, with this team that they run, I think there's too many people trying to carry all the time, and some just need to take a back foot in one way or another.
I'll agree with that. Too many cooks. When it comes to Chapo, I've always seen him as a jungler, and so I'm not sure if this is the game plan. It could be so much simpler as, well, you want to play jungle, sure. But really, what I would love for the situation to be, Mask and Chapo have separate god pools. Mask excels at this Raijin. The Raijin is nice to play against the Janus. Then you put Mask in the mid lane and you allow him to excel where he excels at. I want to see Chapo and Mask balance 2 separate god pools and choose who plays where based on what they need for their comp.
This could be really punished, though. Jarcorrr and Ronngyu tower diving into tier 1 to get to the next wave at the same time as Chapo is still available in the jungle to rotate in. An easy kill for Spacestation Gold there, and maybe even 2 if they can bring down the Man Mountain.
Well, here comes Sheento on the bad side, uses the portal offensively, and looks for the kill on a Chapo. Now Uzzy getting knocked up. Jarcorrr still in trouble as Mask makes the rotation.
He could get his very first kill in the mid lane, and he will do so. Jumps in, saves the day, but Chapo got picked up by the unstable Vortex from Sheento, and that at least makes it, well, not semi-worthwhile for Sanguine because they overextended and they got punished for it.
But so, what's lost here in the situation is that Panitom has just been banking. Chapo's over here making a gank, and it takes mad long. Chapo's over here getting his speed buff, kind of annoyed. Delays, it takes mad long. Meanwhile, Panitom just clocking in at work. He's been collecting his paycheck every 2 weeks, and he's about a level and a half above elchapo right now. I want to see Pele make moves.
Netrioid's going to be a little bit more careful here. He's playing very aggressive in this lane against a Bacchus Xbalanque. We have no extra support. A couple of times now he's had his Beansburg, couple of ganks in a row. Sure, only 1 death, but he's just going to have to sit back. Luckily, for the most part, this pressure will be relieved soon as you'll see Matty start to drift to have to come and help out the mid and what's going on with Ronnie on the other side of the map.
So right now, Space Station, despite all of their wins, a first blood, a second blood, and even a kill after the fact.
Good Aegis.
Very good Aegis.
I just want you to know that Aegis was sound alone. He had no vision. He heard it coming, and he... That's the weird thing about it. He was facing away and went, this is going to hit me. I have faith that Sheento will hit me with this, so I will respectfully Aegis, because he could have looked really stupid.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's about respect there. Good play from Mast. Kisses.
Sheento in trouble. Gets away through a portal. No problem. Make haste, he says. Mask level 5. Now Chapo level 5. Doesn't want to go for the ultimate just yet. Just a little bit too much space between him and the opposing mid lane.
I'm definitely excited to say, ooh, Uzzy, getting flashy. That was King Arthur. The Man Mountain's dead. We found a new mountain. It's Uzzy on a Guan. So far, King Arthur has been soloed today by a Camazotz and a Guan. We're finding answers.
Well, I
or
think
maybe it's more misplays.
There you go. I think the Camazotz had something to do with it.
Let's give the credit to the player that gets the kill, okay?
All
Talking
right.
about getting kills, they might get one on running now.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give a lot of credit to Space Station Gold, the 3-man gang,
Oh,
but
Panitom.
here's help from Sanguine. Oswaald is gone.
And the problem with that is they took too long to bring down Ronnie there, who got a good stun off on 2 targets, and that allowed reinforcements from Space Station Gold to get there. No one was really paying attention to the rotation until it was too late, and Oswaald, he was already dead. He was slightly too far forward. His tanks, his front line were too busy trying to CC up, left himself exposed.
And that's huge. Panitom now a full level and change above elchapo. Got the speed boots as well. He needs to be running around with these Rick Owens. I need to see Panitom on every lane hitting everybody in the face, because that's what you need to do with this lead. You have started your game trying to put elchapo behind. You had continued your game trying to put elchapo behind. You have gotten elchapo behind. Now do something with it. Panitom makes his first step forward by making that rotation in the duo lane.
Excited to see what Jarcorrr does now, down with the fact that he lost 2 lives so far this game. Beats in the mid lane.
Sheento uses beads and then walks forward. If Chapo's turned around, he's going to jump on Sheento as soon as that CC immunity is over. Doesn't even see that situation.
I think it was more of the lack of respect for the fact that he knows Chapo didn't have his ultimate there, so he wasn't afraid of any further threat after the last fight.
I missed that one. That's certainly true. Also, Panitom in the wings, always very scary.
The mobility, more than anything else. Just being able to get around the map as quick and as fast as a Pele can causes so many problems.
Plus, he's got the winged boots, Talaria, Travelers.
How many different names are they going to have over this?
Whole bunch. Ronngyu. Well, everybody's ultimate on top of the bear mom. Still not enough because Sheento shows up and Panitom going to show up as well with the offensive fury.
Panitom still under pressure though, trying to get onto Mass, but couldn't make a decision of where to go for. So at the end of the day, Gang failed. Or did it? Because Space Station were the aggressors. Sanguine escaped with their lives. A lot of pressure on Ronngyu, who in fairness, escaped thanks to Sheento.
Exactly. That was a kill 7 ways to Sunday. Sheento saves his support easy there.
Tuesday.
Exactly, but you know, if you get 7 ways to Sunday. I think I actually made that up. Mattypocket jumps out into the mid lane and safely finds himself under his tier 2 tower.
We don't cast it off, so I'm just trying to, like, you know, bring you back in line, so to speak, of like, wait, what are you talking about today, Tom?
Hey, malapropisms aren't my thing. Does a pope poop in the woods?
A bear, Tom.
No,
Pope.
it's the Pope cat that's malapropism. Come on. Oh, man. I am...
It's only week 2 as well. Week 2 of phase 1.
No. It's week 4 here.
Of the minor league,
In
correct?
the minor league.
Correct.
Day 2, week 4, phase 1, season 6.
You should say that for a living somewhere.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe you should tweet about that somewhere.
Maybe. What would I say, though?
No clue. Maybe you should talk about what games are going
I mean,
on.
hey, it happened, right?
Yeah. Like, they lost again.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm
SPL
hoping-
happened, I guess.
With how this has started, though, I mean, Space Station Gold were up in gold. They're actually down in
Yeah.
gold as it stands, even though they've got a kill deficit in their favor, so to speak. But once again, it just shows that Sanguine are doing a very good job of farming, and that delay on Chapo has still made an impact and actually affected the mid lane too, where Mast is a bit of a level down as well.
Exactly. Chapo not able to finish his second item. Beautiful play by Ronngyu, finding the stun after the kiss. Because it's actually interesting. The blink comes in and Ronngyu channels the stun. It hits after Chapo throws the first shuriken. So the character was taunted, but gets the stun because of the anticipation. Really clean stuff there coming out from Ronngyu.
Favorite thing about Sanguine, though, is they're a Latin American team, right? And these guys have stuck together for a while, consistently played through the years. Couple of adjustments in terms of roster over time.
Right.
But for the most part, they've had this core that have been working hard together, now got themselves a spot in the minor league, and they're taking it to the North American players, which haven't had the same level of respect as other leagues before. And this
Not
is
at
a
all.
real chance for them to show that to the world that, yeah, the LATAM community can play Smite.
Red
Always
buff
makes me
being invaded one more time, but unsuccessful. Sanguine walk away with their tail between their legs here. Netrioid getting thrown at, but Oswaald not really a threat just yet.
Very much a farm situation for both teams, especially when you look at Sanguine's composition here. Pele wants farm in the early game, same for a Janus, same for the Muzen Carb. So get to the mid game, look for the team fights a little bit later on. Or maybe just catch them into the jungle.
Chapo falling down a hole. Beautiful play from Sheento. Notices that Chapo wants to get out of there, anticipates the ambush, which does have a stutter step. You got to activate it twice. Sheento takes advantage, drops the manhole, in goes Chapo. Pop, pop, down he goes.
Cheeky Gold Fury attempt from Sanguine here. They've got a bit of pressure with 4 members grouped up. Matty was trying to circle around the back and has been spotted by that ward. He's still Bacchus, so he's just trying to buy some time. He's got a flop, but the problem is that Panitom is waiting.
Yeah, this is Sanguine looking for a fight.
And that's a surprising thing, though, especially with Chapo being off the map. That's why they're going for the fight.
Exactly.
But I was saying Sanguine's comp is more about farming than anything else in the early game. And in Spacestation Gold with that Serqet, they should be trying to make pressure early. You've seen Chapo go aggressive, but the aggression's been immediately cancelled out by Sanguine and spun around.
2 levels down? 2 levels down, Chapo sits versus Panitom, and that's a really big deal because that's going to put him 2 levels down versus the rest of the carries as well. 10 and 10, sure, for Jarcorrr and Sheento, but that's momentarily. They'll hit level 11.
Good fight.
Jarcorrr by himself. Here comes help, though. Here's the ultimate. Panitom just deletes Chapo. He ain't hiding nowhere. And the dash forward, Uzzy knocked up as well. 3 players here, and Sanguine combined with a little bit of help from their friend to take out Uzzy.
Yeah, over here again, Ronngyu just seems to be in the right place at the right time multiple times, over and over again as time goes on.
Which I love seeing that in a support and a jungler. Netrioid surrounded by 2. This could be bad for the B, and well...
It is. But Space and Time comes out from Sheento. Maybe he can make it a turnaround kill at least.
He might be able to if he finds a portal, and he does. There's the Aegis. Nice prediction from Oswaald. Ronngyu gonna back off. What I was saying there was, when a support in a jungle just happened to be in the right place at the right time, that ain't luck. That's game sense, that's knowledge, and Ronngyu absolutely proving his worth.
Oswaald popped the ult earlier there, trying to slow down the sight of Sanguine to make sure Ronngyu does get caught out. But that cost him 3 ultimates there as Mash out the last one. It did get Sheento, which allowed Chapo to get in. Panitom to the rescue, though, to at least get 1. But Chapo then ends up with a double kill, and now a Gold Fury.
You look up Caster's Curse in the dictionary, you find My Ugly Mug. And just right now, praising Ronngyu for consistently understanding the map, being in the right spot. He is anything but. He is in the absolute wrong
He's
spot.
He's going to steal this.
Yeah?
I'm lying. He's
yeah,
you
triple
think kill.
So?
I'm lying.
Yeah, you
He'll
think so?
Go 1 for 1.
Yeah, you think so?
And delay the Gold Fury enough that it's not going to get done. That's a good play, actually.
That is a good play.
At
and
first I was like,
thanking him.
this isn't really going to happen, so I'll go pull out the outlandish of like,
oh yeah, steal it. Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But what actually happened there, the fact that he kills one of them means they have to reset the Gold Fury, keeps the gold deficit exactly the same, so it's not as doom and gloom.
And it's the most important player as well, taking Netrioid away from that scenario. He's the dedicated long-range DPS. He's the dedicated, consistent DPS over time on the objective. So being able to take Netrioid down specifically is absolutely the right play.
So it works out 7 to 9 as it stands. But going to go back to base. 2-0 and 4 on the back. It's a bit of a better game. But gold is relatively even still. The next Gold Fury, the next Pyro could be big. But Jarcorrr is playing Excalibur Man.
Oh.
He's 1, 2, 3.
Ultimate out of Sheento off the mark, but it's still all good. Panitom gets the speed buff invade one more time. Chapo looking on.
Man, I love this Blackthorn Hammer. I love playing with Blackthorn Hammer
Do
as
you?
a player. Just because you never run out of mana. Ever. It means you never have to base.
Press your buttons.
Like, if you're someone like Uzzy who's got sustain with the Guan Yu, or you're someone like Jarcorrr or Panitom with sustain themselves with Gladiator Shield or whatever, you will have infinite mana. And as long as you've got health, you'll be okay.
SSG don't know! SSG don't know! Gold Fury is being taken. Sanguine just gonna... Oh.
Nice little position from Sanguine. I'm glad they realized it. They may get punished for it, though, with a big flop.
Beautiful flop, but a better taunt. Chapo hits 2 different players, causes the madness, and then gets himself a double kill, 4-4 and 4. And that might closen up him and Panitom.
SSG needs to look for something now. I know they got 2 kills, but they need to use these 2 kills to get something back from the Gold Fury.
But what do they get?
Tier 1, Pyro, maybe a 3rd kill in mid.
Well, they're certainly looking for it. Panitom going to be able to play home defense, though. Jarcorrr
Still
here.
going, though.
Yeah, this actually will be an issue. The dash. And Oswaald puts one down. 12 in total for Space Station Gold. Jarcorrr versus the world. Now, this is how you fight the King Arthur. You spread out, and then you collapse. Jarcorrr in trouble! And regicide as Mattypocket takes down the King.
So they get kills. Sure.
Okay, no. I need to celebrate. I need to celebrate how SSG just did this because everybody just looks at Artio and says, "Well, he heals a zillion. You can't kill him." No, you can't fight him. If you coalesce as a unit on top, he's gonna cleave everybody and heal for a zillion. Space Station spread out. As soon as he went up in the ultimate, they collapsed and they hit him after his stuff was already utilized, shutting down the healing, shutting down the damage, and shutting down the player. There is a way to do this. It's you gotta move in and move out like a bad line dance. Jarcorrr goes down because Space Station played that correctly. I'm so excited to see that finally happen.
I love what I saw on the map after the fact, though, that whole fight. Space Station came in trying to do pyro, which is what I was after. I'm like, you got to find something. They don't get a tier 1 in mid.
Yeah, they didn't even get that.
They go to pyro, but as soon as that happens, Sanguine push out left lane, pressure mid at the same time. Ronngyu gets picked for it for pushing mid, but he stops the pyro. So it keeps the gold even still. And now Oswaald's a little bit too far forward here, maybe in trouble.
Yeah, there's a blink from Panitom. Knockup is good. Oswaald once stood. 8 days a week for Sanguine. 16 in. Tie game. 14-8 might tell you a different story, but there's the graphs. And boy, does that illustrate how this one has gone.
SSG are definitely getting better week on week. I can feel they getting better. It feels like
for sure.
They're communicating more and more. They're on the same sort of page. I just feel the last shot call, whatever it is, when it's like, we got to kill. What do we do now? We're lost. We're still not making a team call. And then we get situations like this where we're all over the place.
I agree with you. It just needs to be tighter.
Yes.
That's what we need to see at a Space Station. A tighter game. For now, game working out.
But I'll say the one thing is that this plays into Sanguine. If you're going to play this sort of, sporadic fights everywhere, Sanguine like a good scrap. They're like a good Barney where they can, and they'll take it.
Oh, absolutely.
And then they'll find a win after the fight with an objective.
And when you look at the composition that they have, they being Sanguine, they're kind of built for that.
Yes.
Chapo is going to excel when he's jumping on 2 separate players. Mask is there to hit multiple players as well. You look at Sanguine, well, Panitom, if you run into a Pele by yourself, you're dead. If you run into a King Arthur by yourself, you're dead. If you run into an AMC by yourself, you're dead. I mean, this is a situation where Sanguine are looking for the picks. And if I'm SSG, I am going to deathball. I don't want to be anywhere away from my friends.
This pyro quite important though. Mass is the one round war. Keep an eye out for his ultimate to come through and try and secure, but it might be a bit too late. Sanguine take it down before Space Station really can do anything.
And I love that play. Spacestation Gold just kind of watch. They don't really go into it because if you die for a Pyromancer, you're guaranteeing the Fire Giant. I don't think you ever should die for a Pyromancer. Never speaking absolutes. 99% of the time, I don't think you should die for a Pyromancer. It's just not enough gold, not enough pressure, not enough presence. It just ain't worth it. So Space Station, watch. And if anybody from Sanguine make an egregious mistake or step completely out of position, they'll take advantage. But really, they're just an audience.
Mass has played the mid lane though. Quite pleased so far with his performance. Sure, he's down in levels at the moment. Build's coming along nicely. He's consistently been in the fights, 2-0-7. But he's not died, which is quite important too.
More Shaman's Ring. Love this item. I was talking about it with respect to Poseidon earlier, because you're always guaranteed to follow up your Whirlpool with a Kraken or something. Well, with respects to Raijin, all of his abilities are either channeled or multiplicative, where you're going to have multiple hits with that. Percussive Storm, bop, bop, bop. Raiju, that's a Chain Lightning. The third ability even has 2 hits, and then, of course, there's the 4-shot ultimate, all of which are going to enable that 10% extra damage. 10% is actually huge when you get to the late game.
You're talking about the extra damage and how good the damage is. I love the fact he's got movement speed on it.
That's also pretty nice.
10% movement speed means that, well, when you're against Panitom, you're able to escape a little bit quicker. If Ronnyu's going to try and cripple you so you can't jump away, at least you're moving faster, right? There's going to be an upside somewhere, and it will give a bit more survivability to him as well.
Sure.
I want to see him chilling the ults from the back line a little bit earlier. I feel like he's holding it a little bit, but I understand why. It's a big CC thing. And also moving from jungle to mid, Aggro loves to talk about it all the time, about the changes in terms of how it's played out. But you've got to reposition slightly. You're not always going to be the first one in there. You should be, to an extent, there the entire fight.
Right.
But safe as best as possible throughout.
Like a sniper.
Yeah. The difference between an assassin, though, is that they get in sniper position and then blink on your face, right? Whereas the mage should still stay in sniper spot.
Well, the mage right now has to be concerned about the objective. Sanguine just trying to goad Space Station Gold into a bad situation, and Space Station know a little bit better at this point in time. and so they won't take the bait. Great job so far from Sanguine, though, as they find themselves up about 2,000 gold.
Well, it is patch notes day today. Sorry, patch day, I should say. So next week, when we see the minor league play and the console league play, we get to see our first look at the next metas. Because everyone's been working on this meta right now, which is going on with these speed invades, but the dual lane's going to change, right? Lots of nerfs to some of the most prominent gods too.
Yep.
I think next week's going to be really interesting to see who can evolve the quickest, which is something that people don't talk about in Smite enough.
Primal Fury, 10%. Sanguine are able to confirm it, despite the fact that Spacestation Gold are here creating havoc. Mattypocket, just a hair of HP, but the rest of the squad gonna blink forward. Here comes help from Mask and the jungle Chapo. Doesn't seem to be enough though. Chapo jumps to the left and is immediately greeted with lightning fury from the enemy jungler, while Uzzy answers back, putting number 15 on the board.
Oswaald still under pressure from Jarcorrr, and Jarcorrr can just keep chasing in. I like what Oswaald tried there. He tries to go back to his team because it's his only chance of survival is getting some support, but the problem is it leads Jarcorrr to the rest of the team.
Mattypocket finds an exit. Hardcore still after Uzzy. Not as good. I mean...
Janus? Nope, not available. Although Fire Giant is up right now. Panitom is still alive. They could offer a cheeky fire at 21 minutes in if they sent him here, but if Uzzy just keeps fighting with Mast, Panitom's in the way.
And Hardcore going to find a stun. Mask has to blink up north. It's a little bit of trouble. Janus going to split push, take care of the tier 1 tower on the right-hand side.
Like that call. They're getting pressure mid all the day from Panitom and Jarcorrr, so why not keep going? And Jarcorr's still going at them in mid, keeping 3 busy now, as Panitom strips away the speed buff at the same time. Spacestation
know how to beat this Arthur. They've got to keep him at bay and not get hit all at once. Chapo trying to find an opportunity. Hardcore just a little out of range, and Ronngyu to allow the king to walk away one more time.
It did look at the last fight from Spacestation Gold's point of view, though. A lot of ultimates were used, but they were used disjointed. There was no single target. Everybody seemed to have a different target in mind based off their health pools of like, I trust this player to do this. But Sanguine played as a unit. The shells came out at the right time. Netrioid survived so long after getting hit by that ultimate from Chapo because he got a shell straight away from Ronngyu. Straight after that, as soon as the shell wears off, he aegis himself, and it bought so much time to bring Spacestation further out of position, deeper, and then into an awkward spot that allowed Sanguine to survive after getting the Gold Fury, which was a primal, I should say again.
That'll help Spacestation Gold later on, or excuse me, Sanguine later on, with respect to the Fire Giant. Divine Ruin coming out from Masked. I need to see, okay, I see a beat stick on there for Chapo. I was going to see, I need to see more anti-heal against the Arthur. And we're getting to a spot where I'm a little happy. I'll ask for a Pestilence, but a beat stick and a Divine Ruin are good enough.
Anti-heal actually works against most of this comp now because Panitom obviously plenty of sustain in the likes of Pele. Sheento going for a Soul Jam. That actually means that he's got healing too.
That's interesting.
You actually reduce his healing as well. Impacts against Netrioid, but still, Chapo going in for Sheento. Sheento's still alive. He bought some time, but still the aggression's on for Chapo.
Panitom misses the ultimate on the Chapo, now trying to find it with the lightning hands. But meanwhile, up north, here's another fight, but look even further north.
Keep going up.
It's all AMC on the left side, taking care of Phoenix. That is the power, baby.
Spacestation fighting a 4v5 at a tier 1 tower in mid lane as they lose a Phoenix in the left-hand side. Oswaald does take down King Arthur. 5 members of Spacestation still alive. They've got to find a win out of this somewhere, and it's got to be a Fire Giant because Netrioid just took a Phoenix.
Oh, man. Sanguine don't have enough information. If 2 players are alive still here at this scrum, Netrioid might have just been able to win the game with a single wave of minions as an AMC, but they just don't have enough info to see if anybody backed.
Go for the pick. That's the right call from Spacestation there. They had to get rid of one of them because they know there's 3 alive. Ronnygu's trying to cause trouble though with his Fire Giant.
Knocked up, Fire Giant 10%. Ronngyu in control, but Chapo with a perfectly timed ult. Oswaald takes care of Ronngyu. Netrioid goes down because of Uzzy. The shot won't hit.
It hit because he got a heal, but it wasn't enough for a kill.
Oof. Oof.
I would have agreed with you that it didn't hit, but I saw his heal go off, and I'm like, okay, yeah, he definitely hit that. Mask getting aggressive, but oof! Eats an unstable vortex and realizes his indiscretions on that one. Spacestation need to keep pressing, though. They just killed 3 members again. They've got Fire Giant, they've got Uzzy with sustain. This needs to be a Phoenix if they can get one. Worst case, it should be 2 tier 2 towers.
Sanguine going to walk up and deny the mid lane Phoenix. Chapel will take care of the tier 1 on the right, and the tier 2 in the middle lane has gone down. There was a 7,000 gold lead for Sanguine at one point in time, now cut down to only 2K, and Space Station have control with the Fire Giant.
All 5 members having it, though, is quite important. It wasn't an enhanced one, as it wasn't 25 minutes in the game yet.
That's true.
But 2 tier 2 towers still remaining left for both teams here. It's a chance for Space Station to try and even up the gold lead. Yes, Sanguine is still in the lead in terms of gold. These two tier 2 towers would help. But the fact that Phoenix is down is so big, and it's in the worst possible spot, the furthest lane from the Fire Giant.
Yeah, it's a bad look for SSG. That said, Mask is able to push up these waves pretty much no problem.
Master's not pretty comfortable in it.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. And I, you know, Mask is a guy. There are a few players in the Pro League and around there that, oh man, I'm just not concerned about position swaps. Mask is so damn good at this game that, yeah, if you told me Mask playing mid lane, I'd go, okay.
Some of it for me is always role based. Depending on what roles they've played previously, I can be like, okay, cool.
Sure.
I feel a jungler can multi-role a little bit better
than
maybe a solo lane.
Exactly, because a jungler has to understand at a rudimentary level every single position, because your job as a jungler is to provide triage or assistance to each individual lane, and when you look, you have to identify, is my dual lane in trouble, or is that what a dual lane looks like when it fights? Is my mid lane actually too far ahead, or is that just what a mid lane does? Well, obviously the primary position players will have a better knowledge of that, a more ingrained knowledge. In order to play jungle, you have to at least understand the personal play.
Now this fight, Tom, is against fire minions as well in this left-hand lane still for a while, so it's not going to be an easy day. That ult was a bit early from Uzzy. I think he expected people around the corner. They went there, but they still surprisingly get running.
I think it was all the element of surprise as Mask surprised by Sheento's ultimate, cutting him down. And Oswaald going to be cut as well. Chapo.
That's important.
Takes care of Panitom, and now it's a 4-on-3.
Oswald's just a little bit too low for Space Station to keep going aggressive. They're going to have to wait a wave or two, let him sustain back up, using Uzzy, using the Fire Giant. Go again. There's still a good 20 seconds here without Ronngyu. So next wave, you can see them pinging it actually, Space Station. They want that next wave. They clear the Fire Minion wave. They've got one more shot to try and take a fight and take the Phoenix.
That's what they'll look for. 27 in. Space Station leading the charge. Their mid laner gone to the wayside. Ronngyu will spawn in about 5 seconds, but Space Station Gold do have one more opportunity to take this 4-on-3. Now a 4-on-4. Jarcorrr starts things up by isolating Oswaald the Hunter, the one that's going to do the most damage to the Phoenix. Jarcorrr can't get out as Oswaald takes him down. Now Ronngyu pushing the players out. And this is exactly what Sanguine need. It doesn't matter if they die, as long as they are staggered deaths, and as long as Space Station Gold are pushed outside of the bird.
Now it's a 4-on-5 over here, or I should say 4-on-4, because Mass is still in the mid lane. The left Phoenix has respawned. Problem is, though, is that they're going to run out of abilities and relics as time goes on, Space Station Gold, whereas Sanguine are close to their fountain for regeneration.
Sheento again through the wall, sends Oswaald all the way back to base the hard way. Uzzy going to dash forward, take care of that one, but Panitom already off to a tear with the double kill. Uzzy will be on the horse, and the dots are good. The bees from Netrioid.
Biggest problem there was Space Station just hung around. The waves stay where they ping the wave and go, okay, this one we go. They go, they get a pick, they can't get the Phoenix. Respawns come through. Should have been a reset.
Yeah.
They couldn't get more out of that. They really needed Bass there for the additional help. He died, he was in base. They should have fallen back. Now, it's Sanguine that have had a window to like re-push out, maybe get a Phoenix in left, or start the Fire Giant, which is literally about to come up.
But see, with that, I like that play, and I think sometimes you've just got to throw. I mean, look at how Sanguine won game number 1. They threw the caution to the wind, and they surged forward, they got a couple of kills, and they walked into the base. Sometimes you've got to do that. The only thing is you just have to worry about what's on the other side. So Space Station Gold go all in, and they lose. And what happens? Nothing. Nothing happens. They don't lose a Phoenix. They don't lose a Fire. They go for it because they understand that it's going to be an entire lane to push up. They already got 1 or 2 kills on the left-hand side. The Fire Giant will respawn, but so will they. Space Station Gold go all in, and they don't come up good, but I think it was a calculated all in, and they're able to gamble another day.
Chapo going to meet Panitom, who has the Magi's cloak, so that's burned by the kisses for the time being. Regen on that in another 60+ seconds. But the one thing about that play there, Tom, is the fact that there was a window for Sanguine to do the Fire Giant. It was.
I'm not sure if they had it.
There was 3 members dead for a while. They had their damage online. They just didn't rush there. And I'm okay with that because they chose to try and pressure left instead. And with through space and time available, Sheento can help defend the Fire Giant from here, and no one here from Space Station Gold to defend this.
So the first time we needed to see the Muzen cop because he has the raw damage to crush this tower. Sheento, the AMC, is the better choice because of the ultimate, but is able to come and do damage to it because once killed, the Phoenix respawns at a lower rate.
Look at the health on that Phoenix too.
Yeah.
Take into account, Uzzy just used his ultimate.
Yep, very close.
So it's a win for Sanguine there already, and now they're looking at a Pyro.
Well, the red buff is going to go to Sheento, which is a big deal that he gets that on his way back to the fight. Pyromancer's still alive. Can't say the same for Ronngyu unless we can. A great shell will prevent the death of the support for a moment. Oswaald takes care of the AMC, and Ronngyu still walking on out. Oswaald dies to the jungle Pele.
Oswaald left on his own again, though, and that's the problem I'm seeing from Space Station. The last couple of fights, they've pretty peeled for the backline, but that time they didn't. And with Oswaald dying, it means the assassins from Sanguine come into play.
Panitom again cleaning up mass. This is a big deal, though. Raijin in the late game so powerful. Meanwhile, Mattypocket getting punched by Sheento, followed up by Panitom, and Jarcorrr just waiting. And there it is, just another shot from Sheento again.
Love the way both these teams have played this in the grand scheme of things, though. Space Station Gold, you see Chapo going aggressive, looking for the pick on Netrioid. He combines with Mass, trying to pick up the AMC. As that's going on, Panitom paying no attention to that whatsoever, as Jarcorrr and Ronngyu try and do a bit of peeling with the shells and stuff. He goes straight to the backline and goes, where is that Zhubba? Where's Zhubba? Oh, Zhubba's not here. Where's Raijin?
Yep.
That's all he cares about. And what's happening with Space Station Gold is they've got very frontline gods. Guan, you, and Bacchus very good at setting up. But Peel, a little bit awkward. You know, sit there belching on someone hoping for a stun. Please stop hitting my carry. Doesn't work out as well.
You got to use the jump, and the jump is usually on cooldown because that's how you initiated. Uzzy, same deal. You got to use the ult, but the ult's already on cooldown because that's how you initiated. So you got a little bit of a slow thanks to the warrior will. Just not going to happen.
But this happened in game 1 too, where Space Station have these. The front line likes to dive in, but they need someone to sit back and peel sometimes. And finding that dance of who's peeling, and who's frontlining, and who's backlining is always an awkwardness from a tank's point of
This
view.
feels good.
All that far?
Yeah. We've all hit that giant wave with one mage ability.
Feels nice.
Clink.
It's when all the archers, when there's like 20 archers in a row, and you like raw one through them all, you just line up alongside them and like, yeah, that felt good.
I'm powerful.
Look how strong I am. And then you get one shot by a Serqet or a King Arthur, and you're like, okay, maybe not. Minions are my highest level of play.
Space Station Gold trying to stretch this one out to a third one. A little bit behind in the gold department, but very soon to be irrelevant.
Really don't matter, Tom. They're all full build at this point, pretty much. You can see the boots will start to disappear out of those inventories, being replaced by the elixirs of speed eventually. But first of all, people will go for power potions, upgrading relics and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Sheento biding his time, making sure he is where he wants to be. Panitom gets away from Chapo. Chapo going to turn his sights onto Jarcorrr, who's in trouble. Big damage, not able to heal, but he does find an exit. Ronngyu surrounded by Space Station Gold, and Panitom's the one that turns it around, putting Oswaald in a coffin. Jumping away is Mattypocket, and low is Jarcorrr, but he don't seem to mind. Long range stun, close up, Sheento, Matty's done.
The ultimates coming into play for Sanguine there as they held their ultimates at the start of that fight. Whereas Space Station used quite a few on the initial engagement trying to start that fight up, and it allowed Sanguine to weather the storm of the damage and then re-engage again and win the fight after the fact. Great play from them. Just patience from Sanguine is all they're doing. They're letting Chapo initiate and going, okay, now we will fight you back.
Good choice by Chapo there. Instead of chasing down the squish, he just turns around and goes, all right, everybody on King Arthur, we'll just kill him.
That play at the end, though, you see Chapo messing around. He's trying to keep people busy away from the Fire Giant. It delays the Fire Giant because you want your whole team there. If Chapo dies here, it's not doom and gloom because he's delaying the Fire Giant as much as possible. Master and Uzzy, though, are having a hard time getting to defend themselves.
Oh, Panitom with the hard juke. And here's the deal. Panitom, if he gets that ultimate up, might be able to turn around 2-on-1. Jarcorrr going to turn around and die.
FG's still going on, by the way, all this time.
Knock up. Panitom trying to avoid the zigzag. Finds
FG?
it. But Chapo gets it. Fire Giant! One more hit. Sanguine are able to take it. Sheento, does he have the ult? No. But Netrioid, it doesn't even matter. He's Super Netrioid, and Uzzy goes down. Blackjack for Sanguine. They take the Fire Giant. They take the lives of the solo and the mid lane mage. And they're going to look to walk back, heal up, and surge forward.
So many crazy fights going on all across the map at the same time. Spacestation Gold deal with Jarcorrr, and once he's taken, they're like, okay, let's go check the Fire Giant. But then AMC was still there, had his ultimate available.
Oh, yeah.
Got a lot of damage out. There was a small chance for Spacestation Gold to steal the FG. If they steal the FG there, it would have worked out better. Obviously, they don't get the overall picture of what happened after the fact, which was they ran away and died anyway.
Pretty
much. If they would have realized that, they may have committed for FG and hoped for the best. But now, Fire Giants only had a couple of members, 3 members, I believe, of Sanguine. But it's still on the Janus and it's still on AMC, 2 of the ones that you definitely want to have it.
AMC is absolutely who I'm looking at when it comes to the later game Fire Giant. The enhanced Fire Giant going to just even double up or even enhance, LOL, the amount of damage you're able to do to structures. And then, of course, the backdoor protection is also kind of stripped as well.
And that's the weird thing that everyone kind of forgets about the backdoor protection.
Oh, that's the biggest thing.
It's so big, but I think a lot of people just like, it's enhanced. So everyone just thinks, it does more damage. Well, it does. But it does more damage because there's no backdoor protection.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there are still some. You're only stripping about a quarter of the backdoor protection.
Only.
But yeah, exactly. Only. The thing is, it'll drastically change the way you siege.
Yeah.
We watch I mean, you pointed it out where teams are waiting for these minions to come in. You no longer really have to do that. You can just fight head on.
But you still have to tank it, and that's also an awkwardness.
Yes.
Like, sure, it's not going to do as much damage in terms of, say, it's not going to take as long to kill. You still have to tank it, and it's still going to deal damage to you, as well as the enemy team trying to defend.
Which is nice, because at 25 minutes, which is when the enhanced Fire Giant spawns, your tank's probably tanky enough to tank it anyway. It's up to the defender to make the decision to isolate and identify the fact that the tank is taking the Phoenix, and then look for follow-up damage afterwards.
Chapo didn't make a play, he just used the blink and the kiss, going to ult onto Jarcorrr, who manages to escape with a Magi's cloak, I believe, there. Gets him away from the danger for now. Meanwhile, though, different story. Panitom went in, and Oswaald got a big old bullet to the face.
Nice play so far. 5-on-4. Chapo very low, so more of a 4-on-4. Mattypocket here could be surrounded. Netrioid going to miss the 2, but Mattypocket's still in trouble. And meanwhile, Sheento and Mask battling it out. Mask activates the drums of war. No target in sight. He misses almost all 4 shots.
Mass pressure from the unstable Vortex was enough to put him off, but he thunder crashes onto Jarcorr's face, so at least he takes down another. Sanguine's still playing up, though. 3 members with Fire Giant against 5 of Space Station. They're relatively low, but they do have sustain.
That's a big deal. The HP 5 will certainly help Sanguine. Sanguine trying to goad Space Station into the jungle.
Looking for a cheeky unstable more than anything else. I mean, 3 space at time is available momentarily for Sheento, and with that cooldown reduction he's got in this build now, it's not going to take long for it to come up.
No, not at all. Big damage out of this build as well. Big power numbers on things like Soul Reaver and the Rod of Tahuti, and then of course the Soul Gem just gonna pop even more.
Problem with Space Station's comp right now, though, is that they're all playing through Chapo. They're waiting for Chapo to initiate and trying to follow up. But he's very telegraphed because you keep doing the same thing. So it's allowing Sanguine to go, okay, where's Chapo? As long as we avoid his initiation at the start and protect the person there, the fight after the fact we can do very well at.
What is this?
Red buff trap. The old red buff. Red buff has spawned. They're going to sit there, hope someone goes for a cheeky red. But whether it's warded or Sanguine just well aware that the whole team was around that side of the map.
They're standing on a ward.
Are they?
Is that a red ward? I can't see onto the mini map, but it doesn't look like it's a Sanguine ward because Ronngyu walked right on in. It will be a Space Station ward.
But all that bait for the setup didn't work out great. Oswaald going to get rooted in place. Now Panitom blinks in as well, looking for Oswaald. Knock up on 3 targets as he goes for Mass in the backline. Meanwhile, Chapo under pressure as he went on Sheento and gets hit by the Stinger.
Following up is the mid lane mage, and Chapo gets his hair cut by Janus. Left side, fight still going on. Hardcore going to find a knock up. There's a blink forward from Mask. He finds himself at a safe distance. Sanguine trying to look up this left side lane.
Mighty hanging around trying to protect his team, but he comes under pressure because of it. Gets almost a stun, but the unstable Vortex did some work. Jarcorrr going to use the stun there from Excalibur just to come into play and keep the pressure going. His Math pops the ult to slow them down. He gets the kill on Ronngyu, and now Jarcorrr could be in trouble too. Mass came up big there for the boys of Space Station.
Uzzy follows up and now can't catch up to the Sheento, can't catch up to the Panitom, but 2 players down for Sanguine means Space Station are going to try and push. Right side tower.
It'll go down.
Look how hard they worked for that one. Space Station going to be able to get that one. But Sheento! Going for the cheeky... Oh, the double
after he died.
The post-death double.
I paused because I was like, that. If depending if the soul gem procs at this moment, that could be a quadra there, funny enough. That'd have been the weirdest quadra ever. He dies and then the portal drops small through to the down.
Oh, man. Definitely one of my favorite martyrdom kills.
So one thing we're noticing, though, from this comp is the game is still 40 minutes now. Biggest problem Space Station have is that the chase potential is limited. Once Chapo's gone in and engaged with his mobility, Sheento and Panitom, those two are free to be very, very mobile and cause so many problems because you can't pin them both down.
Exactly.
You can pin one, but then the other one's still being an idiot in the fight, and you're like, oh, I can't get to him now either.
Panitom still holds his bubble. Chapo's taunt off the mark. Mattypocket here looking to strip as well. But not going to find much of anything. And so 40 minutes in, we all tied up here, folks. Left side Phoenix has been taken by Sanguine at one point, but has since respawned. Sanguine, or excuse me, Space Station are birdless. They have not gotten a Phoenix just yet in this game.
Not with how it's been. I mean, they've had opportunities to. If you think about that left-hand Phoenix earlier on, they were fighting against fire minions, but at the same time, they stemmed their own bleeding at points in this game where they had a Phoenix down, they were losing the fight around the fire giant at the same time that they had to come up big for. But now it's technically all square. It's the next team fight can win this, and when I say that, I really mean if you take out prime members of either of these two teams, the whole team will collapse, and it won't take long to kill a Titan with all the towers being down.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's almost not even worth going for the FG. I feel like you can send a couple of members to the FG and do exactly what Sanguine have been playing. Keep split pushing Space Station around the map because Space Station haven't really found a response to it. And the FG is kind of bait when it's an enhanced version.
Yeah.
It can cause some problems more than trying to end the game.
I'll give you that. I think Fire Giant is just the flagpole, so to speak. Meet me in after school at the flagpole, right? It's just a dedicated spot to fight right now. If you win so teams are going to walk and jockey for position for this FG, and if they get a Fire Giant, cool. But if there's a team fight and one team wins hand over, like just straight up, I don't think they walk past the Fire Giant. I mean, this is just a meeting place.
The big thing for Space Station now is they need to switch up their idea. I think you let Sanguine come onto you. You force them to fight you, and then you reinitiate. Stop being the ones to initiate through Chapo because it's telegraphed. I've been saying that for the last 10, 15 minutes. It's happened so many times. Why not let Sanguine go on you and then you try and turn it around after the fact? You've got Darkest of Nights, one of the best anti-initiation tools available in the game. Xbalanque's Darkest of Nights will mess with comms, mess with vision, and then all of a sudden someone disappears because Mask throws an ult over the wall. Job done, right? Even one of the tanks won't survive through that.
Certainly a thought process there. Sanguine looking for a different element, not being surprised. Sheento pushing up on the right side. This bird has not been tackled just yet. Space Station find out that Janus is in here and now start getting aggressive. Jarcorrr going to be surrounded by Space Station jerseys and Mask pick off King Arthur. Sheento whiffs with the ultimate. And his passage down here, just not a great look.
Look at Sanguine. As soon as they lose a member or something, they immediately go, okay, Sheento turns back up straight away, doesn't get the ult on the team onto the enemy, but what he does do is reset with his team. Groups back up, 4v5 at the Enhanced Fire Giant.
Damage being dealt by Space Station.
So many ults used by Space Station there as well. If you look at what Sanguine has still got available, keep an eye on. The Stinger can cause problems.
Meanwhile, the taunt's going to cause problems across the way. Mattypocket trying to provide some peel, and he won't be able to. Mask falls down to the hand of Panitom, all by himself.
The rest of the squad of Space Station all grouped as a 4-man unit. They're trying to go onto Netrioid, and at the same time, Panitom finds that window he was after.
Surge. Ooh. Oh, that portal was going to hit. Ronngyu walks away from the stun. And so a 4-on-4 here. Sanguine trying to push forward.
Sheento's ult is up very, very, very soon, actually, with the amount of cooldown he's got. They might look for a cheeky snipe if they can find one. Panitom thinking about going in. Chapo's luring them. Kiss on Ronngyu. All in on the bear.
Is he going to drop off the horse? Here comes Sheento right through the wall, and the Unstable unable to really find a kill just yet. Hey, it's King Arthur. Jarcorrr shows up via the teleport, and now I want to see Sanguine just go for the fire.
Yeah, they pushed out Space Station. Space Station on the defensive after using their ultimates. Sanguine stayed up 4v5. but they get the pick on Mast, and that was such a big play that, look at that, left-hand Phoenix, Doug just showing it. It's down already. Spacestation just hung around. They find a pick, but they let lose Mast at the back end of the fight. It's definitely to do with target selection for Space Station.
I'll agree.
I can see moments where they're all not communicating of who they're going on, and then there's a window where, like, if you all went on the same target, you'd be winning this game.
Well, so what Space Station are doing is that they're doing a decent job of collapsing onto King Arthur and taking care of him. The problem is that it takes so damn long to kill the king that Sanguine are able to capitalize on a different side of the team fight and always trade out 1-for-1, it seems.
But it's not a straight 1-for-1, that's the awkwardness. It's normally like, yeah, they'll get a kill, and then they'll try and make a play, and then they lose a member. Yeah.
Also, the ults expended to deal with Jarcorrr has been a really big problem. Space Station find themselves, hey, it's a 5-on-4, and then they get jumped on 4v5, but the problem is Panitom, Sheento, Ronngyu, and Netrioid all have ultimates. Maybe not Ronngyu, but the other three definitely all have ultimates. So Space Station just wind up, you know, bringing pocket sand to a gunfight.
From game 1 to game 2, though, seeing Master in the jungle for game 1, Chapo in the jungle for game 2, the issues Spacestation Gold have had haven't disappeared.
Sure.
They've just been changed slightly now, right? Where they're going to have to, if they're going to stick with this, they're going to have to let it play out a little bit, get the reps in the gym, so to speak. Some of them are very good at that. So it should be a problem for them to continue and learn to play with Mast in the mid lane.
I like this better.
Mast is a little bit off in terms of timing with Chapo on the ult combo synergy. Whether that's Mast and Chapo not communicating right, or Mast just taking a hair longer than you need your mid laner to sometimes get his ultimate up to channel it. It's telegraphed because we've seen so many games. That's all it is.
I like this. I really do like this change with Mask in the mid and Chapo in the jungle. I think this is the look for the team that we can get behind. Honestly, if you ask me, Mask is probably the better jungler than Chapo, but Mask in the mid lane has looked clean, and I've enjoyed it.
Well, Chapo likes playing aggressive in the jungle, and that makes a lot of sense, but Mask gets destroyed by Panitom. They try and combo Jarcorrr like they've been doing consistently, but in doing so, they still end up losing a member, and Jarcorrr is still alive!
He can't find the portal, he's gonna go in for the heals! Jarcorrr just continues to give out the damage. Panitom takes care of Oswaald. Panitom takes care of Uzzy! Mattypocket falls into the hole and falls all the way home! Sanguine take this one in 2.
It was a weird end, but with the left-hand Phoenix already being down and being forced off the fire giant with the enhanced version, it was just too much for Space Station Gold to handle there. Really just come down to Space Station again in terms of very telegraphed. That's what it felt like to me.
Sure, I do. Again, big points to the strides that they've made, making the swap as far as positions are concerned.
It's definitely better.
I like that. And we've only seen the one game. I'm really curious to see if this is a strategy where they're going to be able to swap based on god pool or opponent, or if it's just Mask is mid now.
And I think it may just be Mask mid now. They'll tell us themselves. They all stream, so we might get a chance to see that. But I'd be more interested about seeing switches. I think it'd be really cool to see, hey, we're playing Serqet, let's put Chapo there. Hey, we're playing Nemesis, let's put Master.
We'll see if it's that deep or if it ain't as such. 2-0. Sanguine, take it.
A very strong win for Sanguine. Space Station looked better, though. Tom said 2-0, and I went, is that right? And I guess it was. It just kind of felt like Space Station had gotten a game in there somewhere, despite not actually closing one out. Because really, this game was back and forth. Even though they were leading in the kills, they could never really get enough separation from Space Station.
And it all boils down to the same thing. I think that the miscommunication in comms is just so clear, like night and day when you're watching these guys, even on the map. There's just multiple instances where they'll win a team fight, but they seem to be really conflicted as far as like which direction to go. I think even at one point, Mattypocket was legit toggling from left side to right side, uncertain of which direction to actually head. But where things really fell apart here for Space Station Gold is, as commanding as that lead was in the early to mid game, I think they did a fantastic job at shutting down Jarcorrr on the King Arthur. I don't think that
in the early game, right? Yeah.
Yes, correct. And he didn't have a chance to really be as impactful there. But more importantly, Sheento, in my mind, saved this game for Sanguine.
On the Janus, yes, right? It was critical for him. He even had the play, I think, with the portals where he got that double kill over by the Phoenix. I'm being told, I think we have the clip, so hopefully we can take a look at it. But that's the kind of stuff that Janus can do. I think Tom called this the martyrdom play, where he was able to keep this game alive. He had multiple like this, where he was just barely able to keep this game going. 3-man portal nearly a quadra.
And that was definitely a solid play, but the moment that comes to mind for me when I think of Sheento salvaging this match for Sanguine is it was at the peak of Space Station Gold being on that initial push in. They had so much potential, I think, after they got that first Fire Giant, but it all just crumbled so quickly once Sheento was able to kill Oswaald and one below of that through space and time.
Sheento was the one that I think was making the plays that kept them in it, but the throughout the entirety game, the thread felt like, for me, it was Panitom on this Pele, right? He was the one that was chasing down these targets, that was finding kills, that was disrupting with these knockups in the fight. I mean, he was keeping them in it 100%. I think that you saw the big spikes in relevance from the Janus, from Sheento, but in terms of the who was more consistently doing it, for me, it would be hard not to give that credit to Panitom on this Pele, man. He had a great game on it, and I think sometimes it's almost forgotten just how strong this god really can be still.
It's all about the sustain in my mind, and even though Space Station Gold, like we mentioned, were able to shut down that King Arthur in the solo lane early on, once it came more towards that late game
Look how long Jarcorrr lives in this fight, right?
He's just alive. He just doesn't die, and that was just so problematic for Space Station Gold. And there were even multiple instances where we saw Ronngyu, for example, getting away on like 10%, 20% health.
Exactly, getting through portals, yeah.
Kills that probably should have been finalized, but weren't. And Space Station Gold, all those little factors began to build up to even larger problems until eventually Sanguine just finds the overall win.
And for what it's worth, I think this role swap worked out. Chapo was in the mid lane this time. Mast was the or switched around rather. Chapo was the jungler this time, and Mast was in the mid lane to switch from what they normally were. And I think it looked good, right? The Raijin seemed comfortable for Mast from what I could tell. He was getting off a ton of relevant damage in that game. They just weren't able to close it out. I mean, we keep saying it. It's a broken record. At a certain point, it's got to be fixed. But they walk up to the door. They just can't walk through it.
They're going to get there eventually. I still holding out faith that, they're going to get one of these sets to bring back home. But I do think this is an underutilized strategy that I'm hoping to see more of in the future from Space Station Gold.
The ability to flex in these roles, right? I think that you're right. That's something that could be a boon for teams that can pull that off. But don't go anywhere. We still have plenty more Smite coming for you. It's going to be Armada and Cryptic next. And also, make sure you get your tickets for HRX.